Hi, welcome back to part 4 of the deer carving project. Today I'm going to be making the antlers, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them out, like I said in the last video, I'm going to make them out of copper wire, the frame anyway, and then they'll be covered in polymer clay. I've got some here that's kind of a bone color, and once I make the frame, and I practiced yesterday, I did a little experiment yesterday, so that's kind of what I'm going to be going after. You can kind of see it looks, I don't know if you can tell, it looks like one side of a deer antler. So what I'll do is I'll make the frame, and then I will cover it in the polymer clay, and I can sculpt it and do all the details in it, and then put it in the oven. You bake it and it hardens up. So, and then it can be painted, it can be sanded or sculpted and carved a little bit if I need to. So I think that's how I'm going to start it. I did get suggestions from another subscriber that using a PVC tube, and I've got this split down the middle, and then you boil it and it softens it, and you can spread it out and lay something heavy on it to flatten it out until it cools. And then you can trace out your pattern of the antlers on it and then cut it out and carve it. But I'm just not convinced of how well that PVC is going to hold paint. It'll probably be fine, but I'm going to try it this way first and see how this goes. And if it doesn't work, then I'll use that. I did make some last winter, just playing around using just the clay, and I molded the antlers, and I wadded me up a ball of aluminum foil and kind of laid it over so it'll have the curve and the shape I needed, and then I baked it, and they turned out pretty good, I think. And I'll show you a picture of that here somewhere here in the inset. But I think with the wireframe, I can get them to the shape I want exactly. Mount them on the deer head to make sure they're where they need to be, and then once I get the clay around it, then I can bake it, and then they'll be ready to mount on the head. So anyway, I'm going to turn the camera around here and get started on this. Like I say, I did one already, but this was just a practice piece, so I'm going to start from scratch and do another whole set. So let me get the camera around here. Alright, so I've got my wire here. I'm going to pull me off a couple lengths. I'm going to go ahead and cut the lengths I need, and I'm going to cut them a little bit longer than what I need, and then I can trim them off once I start getting it together. We'll kind of use this one as a template because I do know this was pretty close to the size they're going to be. Okay. I gotta turn this fan on. It's a little warm out here today. Sorry about the noise. Alright, so I got my two main frames. I'm going to cut the G2s. You see, I'm going to cut them just a little bit longer, and then I can trim them off. Alright, I'm gonna cut my G3s. And then my eye guards. Now I may need to I need to sand the end of these. I need to sand these because I think I had trouble with the solder sticking to this. And I don't know if it's just because I didn't have the right kind of solder, or if it just, I think this copper has a coating, probably has some kind of coating on it. So I'm going to sand all these ends, especially the main beam, and then the ends of the antlers. So let me get me a little piece of sandpaper here. All right, I went ahead and flattened the ends of these where they go up against the base, the main frame, because when you crimp them with the wires, with the cutters, it leaves a little sharpened end. I'm gonna go ahead and taper the end of this one off, the end of the main frame. Just so nothing sticks through on the final piece. All right, so I've got all the pieces sanded, the base is where they're going to attach, the main frame sanded, and now I'm going to hook them up in my handy dandy little deal here and solder them on. So okay, I had to abandon the soldering iron because it just wasn't quite hot enough, and I couldn't get it where I needed it. So what I'm doing is I'm just soldering the pieces on like this. There we go. And then I'll shape it, let this cool down, and then shape it, and then put the eye guard on. Need me a little bucket of water to cool these off in. Holding it down here in front of the fan. So I already tell that one's too long. Bit of this off because that's going to be too much to go in. I'm going to have to cut some more off because that's still a little too long. Like I say, once I get both of them made, then I can stick them on and get them shaped, because I can bend the wire and get them shaped how I want them. So now let me put the eye guard on. I'm just tinning the end of this. Just putting a little bead of solder on there. And then I'll do the same down here where the eye guard's gonna go. Let it cool off. And there we have a antler. There's the eye guard, the main beam, the G2, G3, and G4. And then I will use the epoxy, the polymer clay to cover these and shape the final antler. After I get them bent into shape. Alright, so let me start the next one. I bought this wire, solder wire today, and it's a little too thin. I should have got a heavy diameter. I had some in my shop already, a little bit heavier. It's a real rosin core. This is an old spool my dad had. This roll of solder here is probably 40 years old or older. So let me get my other ones out here. They don't have to be perfect because they're not going to be perfect on a whitetail. But I just want them to be close. Also bought this handy dandy little third hand today. Let me go get a glass of water so I can cool these off immediately. All right, let's see here. Going on kind of thick, but I can sand it once it hardens in the oven. I can sand it down, which I probably will. I mean, which I know I will. All I'm doing is just taking a little piece, rolling it out almost the length of the tine, and then flatten it out. Take it, wrap it around it. Go this side. And close it in there. And got there wanted to break off, that's alright. Good thing about this polymer clay is it stays pliable until you bake it. I'll have to look it up. I think you bake it at, I remember it's like 275 for 15 minutes or so. Like I say, I'll have to look that up. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head. Now the question is, do I put the detail in it while it's soft, or carve the detail in it? I think I'm going to carve the detail in. I'm going to leave it kind of thick, and then I can put the detail in with my small diamond bits. What I'm doing here is just giving this antler a little more mass. All right, there's one down. So that'll look a lot better once I get the once it bakes and then I get it smoothed out. Now I'm going to take them in and bake them. The directions on the package is 275 for 30 minutes per square inch. So I don't think it's a quarter inch thick. So I'm going to do it for 20 minutes at 275 and see what it does. keep my fingers crossed and hope that does it right. So I'll be back, hopefully with hardened antlers. Well, I have a little bit of a mix up here, a flub up, and I didn't realize it, but the sculpted clay, the polymer clay I got, is a translucent, not a bone color. You can see that. You can see the wire frame inside the cover now. Which isn't going to matter because I'm going to paint it, but still I thought, I've had some that I realized I didn't have, or I didn't know I had, and I'd used this before, but this one's not transparent, but this one is, and it says right on the side translucent, so I didn't see that. But it's, like I say, it's okay. It's not gonna, I'm gonna paint it, so it's not gonna really matter that much. But what I'll do now is I'm gonna lightly sand it to get them smoothed out and get the points on the tips a little bit, and put a little texture in the antlers herself. So scoot this table back down here to get in. So, but yeah, it's I think it's gonna be fine. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. So, but like I say, I'm gonna round these tips off now a little bit, and I am going to use a more coarse sander here to do that. I'll go over this coarse one, then I've got a finer one I'll go over with to kind of smooth it down a little bit. Yeah. So if you try this, I would suggest putting that texture in before you bake it, when the clay is still kind of set up or still pliable. That one's doing okay. Yeah, that one's doing all right. This little chisel bit. I do need to, though. I want to try something else too. I'm gonna use this real coarse cut saw to try and get some of those grooves in the antlers, and I probably would go back to this one, but I think this may get some of the texture in I'm looking for. especially up here on the yeah, that's working good. I was going to pin those in, drill little holes and then stick a little pin, little copper pin, but I think that super glue on there will hold them fine. Once it gets painted, that'll look pretty good. I'm happy with it. Okay, that's going to do it for part 4. I think the antlers turned out pretty good. What do you think? I'm kind of happy with it. I still may try the PVC trick just to see, because that can have other applications. So I'm gonna, and I may even carve a set of antlers on there just to see how that works. But the good thing about doing this wireframe with the polymer clay is, even after it's cured in the oven, the polymer clay is not rock hard. It's still got a little bit of flex to it, and it'll hold its shape without the frame. But with the wire frame in it, I can rebend these tines a little bit to adjust the symmetry of it. Symmetry. So, and I'll look at it for a day or two. I can already see this one's just a little bit high. And deer antlers aren't perfect, but this one does need to come down a little bit, and I'll be able to do that. They're not on permanently. They're just kind of tacked on with some little tack of super glue. The ears are. I did permanently put the ears on. I was going to use a little short piece of this copper wire and drill a hole and make a little post to stick them on, but I just ended up just super gluing them on. I think with the I think it'll be fine. And then I'll come back with some wood putty and blend the seams in where the ears meet the head. But part 5 is probably going to be burning the hair on and painting. So, but like I say, I'm going to look at it, study it for a day or two. There still might be some little tweaking here and there I may do on the body, because I know if I paint it, then I'm going to see a mistake. So I'm going to look at it for a day or two before I start burning the hair and painting. But anyway, like I say, that's going to do it for part 4, and I appreciate y'all watching. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you like these videos. But I'll see y'all on part 5.